for more poke. They could pick up the early Ezreal for flex, both mid and bot right now, so a lot of options. Looks like they just want to secure that Gragas. They still value it over Rek'Sai in this patch.
Still very, very valuable since a lot was left up in the jungle, and of course the AD carries as well, only Kalista being taken. They can take their time. They lock the Ezreal. That is that flex pick that you mentioned. We'll see if PePiiNeRO is going to bring the Rune Glaive to Summoner's Rift once again.
Now, something definitely worth mentioning right here is that 4 supports have been hit in the bans. Morgana and Thresh banned away by SK Gaming. Lulu and Alistar banned away by Giants, so these guys will have to dig deep. And traditionally, we've seen a lot of value in Janna right here when you play poke compositions. So I wonder if any of these teams are going to pick them up, or if SK is noting that Giants are going to play poke, so we need some hard engage. And nRated maybe play Annie Leona, something he's played in the past.
It's a possibility.
Or just simply like Hylissang did yesterday, Braum. I think Braum into AP Ezreal would definitely be a good choice.
But that's the thing too, they don't have to pick it right now. They can take their time about it. The Nidalee being hovered, that's kind of been for a while now. Svenskeren's one of his previous favorites. We haven't seen as much lately. I think this Rek'Sai makes a little bit more sense right here. And the Nautilus picked up. That is also technically a flex pick.
Yeah, because Nautilus top has been played over in the LCK and the LPL.
Will they bring it out on Freddy though? He does like his big bruisery tanky tops.
Maybe. I imagine this is still going to go to nRated right here because he just wants some targeted lockdown. Ezreal can arcane shift over walls and stuff, but the Nautilus ultimate obviously will still chase him. I like that Sven picked up a tier 1 jungle. Yes, you said it right there. He has been known to pick these Nidalee, have a tendency to go off meta, but it hasn't really just given him anything. So tier 1, definitely the right choice.
Yeah, and of course, you know, with the jungle enchant being changed there, it's kind of hard to tell exactly how that would perform. I think this is smart from SK Gaming on the side of Giants. Still have to finish up their comp. The real question is this Ezreal going to be an Adryh pick, because he's definitely played it, or will PePiiNeRO be bringing it once again? Only time will tell as we look towards the next picks. It's going to be a Ryze lock-in for Werlyb and the Janna for GODFRED.
Risky, risky. Giants Gaming going for another double tier composition with the disengage support on Janna. Likely that this Ezreal ends up going in the mid lane, and then perhaps you'll see a Corki bottom. However, Janna Corki isn't the strongest of laners. It does alright, because Janna makes every lane alright. Swapping may be into your benefit. However, you will never swap a Ryze voluntarily, because you want him to get ahead. You want him to get that tier going and just get that scaling to late game. And that's the risk I feel when you run double poke plus Ryze. It pays off dividends in the late game. You gotta get there.
Absolutely. Big dividends. SK Gaming on their side, eyeballing the Shen pickup for Freddy. He has been one of the few that is, I would say, played it consistently well.
Yeah. He's definitely a good split pusher. He's a decent tank player as well, and he seems to be in his element when he plays Shen. And SK Gaming, they haven't been playing very meta. They said in an interview themselves here on the broadcast where they were trying to cosplay Fnatic at the start, but then they realized this is not us. It looks like they're going for more of a 2-carry-oriented style with Freddy in a split push tank role on that Shen. However, this time they do have an element of poke in there.
Absolutely. You know, we were kind of wondering at the beginning of the split what SK's identity really would be, and then they tried a lot of different faces on, you would say, and SK, maybe they're finally finding some rhythm. They still need to stack wins on the board. It's only sitting at 3 at the moment, and it's not going to get you in the playoffs.
Now the problem when you run only 2 carries and you want to get that Jayce in the mid lane is that you spec so offensively into attack damage. There is no AP damage right now on the lineup for SK Gaming that will actually do decent enough damage in the mid to late game. This makes it so that Giants can itemize very efficiently and very easily. Obviously they don't have champions to do so too much. Ryze doesn't build that Frozen Heart anymore that he may have done in the past, but a lot of armor could be built up on Giants here, and they're looking for an Urgot? That'd be interesting.
Not so sure about that, but let's see if they decide to take it at the end of it. I mean, Sivir's been all the way through the pick and ban phase. Of course, you mentioned Corki as well. Looks like it is going to be the Urgot.
I like it because it's a decent lane into Kalista, and it can shut her down somewhat, especially with the Janna shield. If you connect an auto attack and a Q and Acid Hunter from Urgot level 1 to 2, maybe proc that E and then just start raining down on the Kalista. Yeah. Especially when you have the double range advantage into just a melee support. That might be enough to keep that lane even, and then it's just all about who pokes more.
I remember you talking about this a lot during the beginning of the season when Urgot was picked a little bit more. Beginning of split, rather. But yeah, Pepi, he'll get his hands on that mid Ezreal so far. So they changed it up at the last minute? I don't think so.
No, PePiiNeRO is definitely going to play a Rune Glaive for Ezreal. It doesn't make sense here, in my opinion, to play Urgot mid and Ezreal bottom. It feels feel like you're shooting yourself in the foot if you do that. 20 seconds have passed, so teams are no longer allowed to swap. So these are the final rosters. Final compositions, both teams are running one poke that's situated in the mid lane. Giants have a carry top laner on Ryze. Freddy's playing tank Shen. He can global in to the bot lane, so we might see a lot of bot lane presence for SK Gaming, trying to snowball that Kalista. Get it going. GODFRED, he wants to disengage on the Janna.
Yes, he does. To see whose comp reigns supreme in this particular case. SK Gaming, tough situation for them to be in. Giants, a little bit more cause for hope, but we'll have to see when they all leave it out on the Rift. Don't forget to tweet at LOL Esports. SK win or GIA win are your hashtags, as we are getting ready to see who is going to win to take this game and keep themselves all the way forward in the playoff contention. So, with all of that,
let's get into the game.
To get ready, we had to do a pause for dramatic effect. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep those tweets coming, keep those cheers coming. Raise your kappas on Twitch and get ready for game number 1, SK Gaming versus Giants.
And I wonder, how is this early game gonna turn out? Traditionally, SK has been doing pretty well in the early to mid game. But something goes wrong later in the game, especially when they start split pushing and they get a little confused. They very often hurt themselves in their confusion, giving other teams,
30% chance at least, Krepo.
30% chance. You got the Pokemon statistics down.
Oh yeah.
I never knew. For me, it was more like 80%.
I had to look it up at one point.
Anyways, back to the game.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at how SK decided to play this one out early on. So far, it's a line of scrimmage for them. No lane swaps perceived at the moment, but both teams just trying to feel each other out here. Svenskeren a little bit more forward in the river.
I feel it's in SK's benefit to lane swap on the Ryze and keep him down, even though traditionally in a poke composition, Ryze is priority number 2, priority number 3, because in the mid game you want to group up with the poke. However, Giants are only running single poke player. They're probably going to play double tier in addition to that, so they'll have a very weak early to mid game. You can exploit that. Just destroy the Ryze in a lane swap and just get your strong members ahead. I feel that would be a good option for them.
Take a look back to the last time these guys were meeting up. It was all the way back to week number 2. Giants, fairly handy win for them if you look at just the pure numbers, but SK definitely had some more serious troubles, I would say, at the very beginning of this split than they are at this moment, so they're definitely leveling up, improving. Will it be enough, though, to take on Giants?
No, I definitely agree with you there. SK has looked better in most parts of the game, but they still make that one crucial mistake, and that's why they only have 3 wins right now, I believe, and Giants, they're sitting on 5. So Giants win this, they're essentially doubling the win rate. GODFRED and Adryh looking to invade. Face-taking Nautilus is risky.
It always is. He's going to get big slap of his anchor onto the support here. Let's take a look at how this one starts, though, in the lane.
Yeah, and usually double range into melee plus range is in the favor, obviously, for the double range, because you can harass creeps a lot easier. But Riptide from Nautilus is so potent and so efficient at pushing lanes that it looks like SK get the better hand early. Mid lane's going to be roughly even. Fischio touched on it yesterday. Ezreal can make any lane into a farm lane, but in doing so, he sacrifices the pressure.
Yes, indeed, he does. For Fox, he's definitely had some identity troubles himself, trying to step up and be a carry. Let's see what he can make of this Jayce. He jumps in onto PePiiNeRO, gets the knockaway, does do some decent damage, but he has some returned on him as well. I feel like if they want to get this mid lane going and keep PePiiNeRO down, Svenskeren's going to need to be here, and often.
Yeah, longsword and a couple potions on the side of Fox. PePiiNeRO not starting with any flash shenanigans, full Dorans. And he just wants to base early and get that tier, I imagine. Get that stacking. He is running the smite, so he's gonna go Runeglade. Very expected at this point. Fox is going for the offensive summon on Ignite, though.
Yeah, he keeps moving forward. Pepe's got to be careful. This could be a rough start to him. Svenskeren's going towards the blue. Will he be able to actually take this one away? Nope, it's already picked up by Frederick.
Yeah, signature move from SK Gaming here, and Svenskeren, he's going in.
To the jungle, and Frederick should have seen this one coming, frankly. Sven's gonna get cold feet and back off. Frederick was there, the shock blast just out of range.
I don't think that would have been enough, but it would have been a scare for Frederick, and this is something Svenskeren likes doing. When his mid lane is pushing, he will use that advantage to invade and find the enemy jungler, just harass him a little bit, and that's how he thrives. And SK didn't do that. The first 3 weeks in the LCS, we barely saw it.
Times they are changing, though. They're getting back to the basics, I would say. So Fox, I mean, he's definitely going to have the pressure versus this Ezreal. You said it's always becoming a farm lane, only if the opponent really lets it be. So far, so good. But he's actually down a little bit in farm. Fox has been spending a lot of time trying to get that harass off. Top lane continues to be a bit of a wet noodle, but we'll go back to bottom for just a second because Adryh is actually caught up. A couple of spears sticking in him. Ren's not nearly enough to take him down just yet, though.
Yeah, GODFRED tries to cancel that dredge line from Nautilus there with the NATO. Just really hard to time that just right. As long as he gets the snare off. Good damage, and of course, Kalista still has that 12% max HP damage right here. We see it again.
Edge. Gonna get the knock up the flash. Another auto attack. And he just barely goes down. Oh, that was so close. Nicely done.
Yeah, good aggressive engage, and even though the Urgot passive makes it so you deal less damage overall, it wasn't enough to save him. And yeah, honestly, a slip up from Giants. You should not die in that 2v2.
Yeah, it was so close. You know, we talked about double tier, but I completely forgot about the Urgot at the very end of this. We're gonna go triple tier this game. There's a lot of crying going on. Right now it's in the mid lane. Fox takes some serious damage. Svenskeren's gonna run right into Frederick. He knows he's there. He has to turn his tail around, gets the knock up. The barrel comes in. Will he be able to get away? He's got himself a burrow. Fox is there for the defense as well, so it'll be fine.
Yeah, you're right on the money there with the triple tier, something I even overlooked. Very passive early game by Giants, and
oh yeah,
Frederick is trying to mend that. He based first. He came back.
Trying to pull a
Svenskeren just based just now, so he's going to have the momentum and the pressure. And Freddy, he's doing fine in his top lane. However, Werlyb, 32 CS, uncontested, no ganks, no pressure. This could be the shining light for Giants.
Exactly. This is the problem that SK have had, not been able to try and shut down the Ryzes. nRated gets the dredge line onto PePi, who's going to immediately flash it. Fox just continues the aggression up, but for all said and done, PePi still maintains that CS lead. Giants are very happy with this early game right now. Let's see if it changes as Frederick makes his way up top.
Yeah, should be an opening.
Flashes in the barrel. Rune Prison's on. Freddy just gets away. Very close calls there for the SK top laner.
I actually had Deficio whisper in my ear. Was many sweet nothings, and in addition to that, he also called me wrong. Because obviously Runeglaive Ezreal doesn't build here. Traditional Ezreal it does. Let's get back to that later. Svenskeren comes in.
Still got 2 tiers. Adryh might be the one crying. He is, as CandyPanda rends him down. See an early dragon here. Sven and nRated want to go for it.
Rookie mistake. Obviously, the Runeglaive on Ezreal mid is going to be
We're so used to talking about tier with
Nah. That's honestly a big mistake. But yeah, back to the game. 2 tiers are live on Ryze and on Urgot. Still a passive early game. Ezreal is pushed in regardless of what build he goes. SK take 2 kills to take the pressure lead. And now Freddy, he's at level 6, and this will facilitate dives. Now he can get away out of that lane. We'll have to look if he uses that, because he can ulti down to the lane and TP back later. And Svenskeren's dueling PePiiNeRO.
Yeah, he's found him out as tried to bait him in. nRated dredge lines his way to the wall, but PePi's already backed out.
And this is the first time I've seen a Rek'Sai, or not, I've seen Svenskeren and nRated duo invade together this early in the game. Just put some pressure out.
nRated.
Yeah, very active nRated, and I like it. I think it's something SK should explore more often. Pressure in the bot lane translated into roaming opportunities. They can go into the jungle and keep Frederick behind. And if he can't gank for his weak lanes, then SK has, you know, so much opportunity to go left, right, and center.
It's an argument for getting your support to grab first blood, able to pick up those really early roam boots. Allows even more movements on the map. As it stands, though, it's 2-0. SK have just managed to find a little bit of edges. Adryh has really been the one that has been the sacrificial lamb for Giants Gaming so far. Only 1,000 gold lead. No other objectives translated on the map. CandyPanda keeps pushing them away from the farm. Adryh's definitely having a hard time of it right now. Look at that CS difference.
Yeah, but we see gold lead at the top of your screen, but what we don't see is the experience advantages right now. CandyPanda hit 6. Adryh just hit 5. GODFRED is still on level 4. This means right now the next full level advantage for SK Gaming allows them to use an ultimate in those engages, and Fate's Call can be just what you need to catch Adryh off guard. Still no flash on him. And they can play aggressive too, because they always have the backup from that Stand United, from Shen.
Not to mention the semi-global presence of Rek'Sai as well. I mean, this is a team that can definitely start fights, and they're proving it, even if it's just a 2v2 right now. Adryh, face call, he's gonna knock him right back in. Adryh is going so low. Candy just doesn't have enough damage thanks to the exhaust. Meanwhile, Svenskeren attempted to get that blue. It looks like he did. Nice and stolen.
Good aggression by SK Gaming, and look where Fox is as well. They don't even have to go to their own jungle. They're catching Frederick.
Oh man, he's gotta go down way too quickly between Fox and Sven. They are not letting up any pressure in this jungle.
Giants are being pushed in all 3 lanes, and that is a drafting mistake. You should never let that happen. It's very obvious it will happen. Svenskeren goes over the wall.
Yep, he's gonna get the dredge line out, and CandyPanda's gonna get knocked up, but it won't matter. Adryh's already on. GODFRED retreats to the safety of the tower, but they can take their time with this 4-man dive. Taunt on to GODFRED, not gonna last too long. A double kill goes over to Svenskeren.
Systematic destruction by SK Gaming, led by Svenskeren, honestly. He started those invades, and nRated joined. Everybody teamed up, and they're just killing Giants one by one, because when you're pushed in this deep into your towers, you have no vision. All the vision advantage is for SK Gaming. They can move to the right, or they could be waiting for you in a rush. You never know where they are. They use that to their advantage. They don't go for the easy dragon too early. They go for the kills, and then they get that dragon. They get a big XP advantage, and on top of that, they're taking objectives.
I don't think I've seen SK be this proactive in the bot lane since last split. They're finally finding some serious advantages in this game. A big gold lead in the early game, 2.3k and a dragon to top it off. We're not quite 10 minutes in, 5-0. Giants have to act fast because SK are hitting the pedal hard.
And if you look at the builds right now on your screen, Giants, they are 2,000 gold behind, but they have an even bigger power drop when it comes to these items, because they have a tier which is worth no combat stats on the Ryze. They have a tier on the Urgot, worth no combat stat. Ezreal finished Woundglaive, relatively weak until you get more items too, so they have no damage, they have no pressure, they have no vision. SK in full control of this game.
That's what happens when you build a composition that's not going to get rolling until later on. It's dangerous. There goes the farm alarm. In comes the Rek'Sai. Wave Racer 64 here. Just to go grab some farm.
One of the few pool party skins I actually enjoy.
It's fantastic.
Really cool there from Svenskeren, and he's looking bright ever since he made the switch back to tier 1 junglers. I feel we've seen a better Svenskeren overall. It's been a good move by their team. Finally listen to their coach, I think.
He's had a lot to do with this early game too. 2-0-2, 80% kill participation. Ready now? Just trading with Werlyb. They're trying to bait him into a situation with Frederick.
But now we've seen SK Gaming, when they get this early lead, later in the game, they've still made mistakes. And we saw yesterday, if you give Giants a little bit, that Woundglaive Ezreal starts going, then that might be enough.
It might, and you know, they've got this Ryze as well. They've got a lot of potent tools the way the game goes. Look at that, Freddy. His health bar is being shredded through. There's no tower for him to fall back to, so he's got to dash and back away. This is going to be free farm for the Ryze.
Yeah, Freddy opting for that magic resistance right here. If he wants to duel Werlyb, he's going to need the help of his jungler. But it seems to be the better move for SK Gaming to play around the bot side of the map. Just ignore that Ryze altogether and then just see him later on, and Adryh gets caught.
He's going to the Fate's Call. He's going to knock him right back in, and nRated has found GODFRED. In comes the Shark. Monsoon's on. There's going to be the hyperkinetic position reverser. Just going to get away, but GODFRED might not be so lucky. Oh, wait, he is. The tower's going down. The barrel knocks him away, but Fox is on the hunt. Can he get the kill? He's knocked up. He's going to go to the skies, knock Frederick away. No kills just yet, but they got a tower.
A little sloppy by SK Gaming, but they do secure that tower, force some summoners. PePiiNeRO, he wants to get the return tower in the mid lane. They need to get something. When SK moves, obviously Giants can't chase because they don't have the vision for it, so they're trying to cross-map them, but with so little knowledge of what's going on, it's far often too little too late. Once you see them arrive in the bot lane, it's too late for you to react. You need to start predicting these plays, but it's so hard if you have no vision to work with whatsoever. Look at the map as well. Look at where the wards are.
SK know exactly where they want to focus, but they have to keep this pressure up. If they let Giants have a break, as you mentioned before, they will get right back into this game. They will get their scaling composition completely rolling, so they have to keep this push going. Another tower falls in the middle. They stay around. Fredericks in the side, has to belly dash over the wall. SK with a small mini wave are looking to try and poke them down. Won't be able to find too much, though.
Yeah, not so much so far. But the gold lead is getting bigger and bigger over time, and it doesn't look like the tide's going to change.
Not just yet.
Pressed back.
Shot barrage. Still waiting before he gets a serious amount of damage, only rocking that jungle enchant just yet. For Giants, though, they've definitely got to stem this blood, and they've gotten a small breathing window because SK has backed off. They've gone back to shop, but they're still going to come back more powerful, and that's always a cause for alarm. Speaking of alarms, Svenskeren Part 2.
I think you can definitely tell that Giants have been hit in terms of the bot lane, in terms of bans. Because this is a composition we haven't seen them play too much, and they left open the Kalista. And honestly, it doesn't seem like they're too experienced in this matchup. Both playing against the Kalista and both playing with the Urgot. Seems it cost them a little, and honestly, nobody should go 0-3-0 in the early game, for obvious reasons. However, it wasn't only the bot lane, it's a team-oriented thing where you just have no pressure whatsoever, and I'm happy to see teams over in Europe punish these very, very passive early game strategies. Because if you get away with playing like this and you get farther in tournaments altogether, you will get punished by better teams, and you will get annihilated.
what SK are looking to do right now, but Svenskeren might be the one who's caught. He's going to have to very quickly flash. Couldn't get in his tunnel fast enough, but he's got nRated and Fox there to back him up. Werlyb on the top side. SK turn all their attention. Rune Prison's on. In comes the Nautilus, backs away. It's a game of touch and go right now. It is a 4v3 up in the top side, but Giants are holding firm as Freddy down in the bottom looks to intercept this farm, but Adryh's firing on him.
Remember, Freddy still has his ultimate available to go top, and PePiiNeRO is doing a blue buff right now, so SK potentially has 5 people on the top lane, if they so choose. And Giants only 3 defending, so SK should find an opening there.
They should be able to, but they're definitely taking their time about it, trying to build up a wave that they're confident to crash into this tower. GODFRED and Werlyb in the advanced position. Frederick on the rear guard. He's going to send the Sentinel out. It'll scare Frederick for a second. That's about all it's doing. SK are spending a lot of time here, not getting anything done.
Yeah, they realize they can't commit to that tower, so they're moving to the jungle, but still, they're always moving into the enemy's jungle.
Oh,
PePiiNeRO shifts out into Svenskeren.
Very quick, but Svenskeren is right there to intercept him. He's going to have to flash the wall. Quick reaction times from PePiiNeRO, saves his life yet again, but now SK are on the push in the mid. Runeglaive, true shot, comes out, clears some of the wave. SK sticking at it in the mid, but Werlyb's coming down. You can intercept him, shock blast. He's on the run, Svenskeren's on the hunt. Won't be able to find him.
Now you see what Giants can do when they have a little bit of vision. If they see SK Gaming coming, they can avoid them. Be careful enough to not die and get caught off, or not allow SK to get into the backline right now, but they still have the backup. They could make so many crazy plays because they always have Stand United available for that shield to just, you know, emergency Shen comes in, helps you out.
Case of team fight. Use ult. Right now he's just sitting on the bottom side. PePiiNeRO's there to meet him as he tries to split push this one out. Is what Freddy does like to do with this and be able to get involved in those fights. Still the crap going down courtesy of Svenskeren. The dragon is now live. They're going to start it up. SK, this is a fairly safe maneuver since they do control this river at the moment. A lot of vision invested all around this side, and Giants aren't making a move to defend it.
And deja vu for SK Gaming here early. Couple dragons. So often we've seen them 2 dragons to none, 3 dragons to none, eventually 4 dragons to none. But even yesterday when they had the aspect, it wasn't enough.
Yeah, they're the team that loves the dragons, but you can't win with those alone. This time, though, they're taking them very safe, they're taking them very smart, and importantly, they're not giving anything up. This is what we definitely call a free dragon.
Yeah, definitely no counter-trade potential. Giants, they trade objectives for time, because time is what they want right now. They want to keep scaling, stack up those tiers, get that AP Ezreal going. Even more CDR right now on PePiiNeRO. Later on, he wants that Luden's Echo, because with the Runeglaive, Ezreal Q now counts as a spell, and then it procs Luden's. Allegedly being changed on the PvE, if I read it correctly, so...
That was quick.
Was quick. Perhaps necessary too.
We'll have to see. I mean, PePiiNeRO put up some serious numbers yesterday. Let's see if he can do it again. I think all eyes are definitely going to be on him the longer this game goes, but as it stands, only 17 minutes in, SK have slowed down a little bit, but they still maintain this 3.5k gold lead, a little bit more than that actually. 2 dragons to none, 5 kills to 0. Giants, as you mentioned, they're just playing the waiting game. It's all about scaling the Ryze, it's all about scaling the Ezreal, it's all about getting the Urgot into a beefy damage dealy, armor penetration-y thing.
Urgot is more like an AD bruiser, but just doesn't scale that well. The only good thing about an Urgot in the late game is that his passive reduces about 15% of some of these damage output, which could be good, especially when you play Urgot into lower threat compositions. You can just hamstring that damage from one of the carries. However, it's going to be hard for him to reach anybody. Jayce will outrange him, and Kalista does enough damage on her own merit.
I was going to say, it's not too bad for SK's later game too. Jayce becomes like a really scary threat as we've been seeing lately, and the Kalista is not too shabby. Now, SK are going to 3-member this bottom side. The Janna shield's going to keep the tower nice and healthy for now as they clear the wave away.
Now SK, they found openings with dives in the early game. But as PePiiNeRO keeps scaling, and as he has the CDR, he keeps using his ulti over and over and over again to clear this wave, so they're not finding an opening in the mid lane. They could translate that pressure into a roam earlier and then get a tier 1 tower, but now that these tier 1 towers are down, SK have slowed down and they're finding it very hard to open up the map for those tier 2 towers. They don't really have to as of yet because they have 2 dragons already and they're slow with chipping away. If Giants can hold down long enough, comeback is not impossible.
No, definitely not. SK though, I feel like this is definitely a little bit frustration on their part since they had such a great start, such a oppressive start over Giants, and this is partially the comp, partially just the way they knew they wanted to play, but they have been stemmed here because they're not able to make these dives. They know Giants are going to keep playing this out defensively, which is looking like the right move right now.
Yeah, I would like to see SK Gaming group up on whatever lane Ezreal is not on. Try and pressure him out, not let him wave clear too much. With that AoE from the Runeglaive and the ulti, of course, and then rotate away, you know, dive on the Ryze, force him off the tower, dive to the mid lane, you know, force to dive on Adryh potentially. If not, ward up the entire red jungle so you can later make it so that you can Baron bait very easily. But Freddy, he finally found that opening. They had to peel back Werlyb for defense in the mid lane, and this will facilitate SK split push. And look at that poke from Fox.
Yes, indeed. So, SK do grab one tower. They got all the outers now, but they're still trying to chip away at the rest. Werlyb and Svenskeren fighting over the red buff. It will be Sven who secures it. Smite is usually better than no smite. Shock Blast not going to hit Peppy. There's a wall there. And nRated's going in on him. Do they have him? He gets... Oh, healed up. In comes Freddy to finish it off. Hyperkinetic position, cancellation, and Frederick gets a Shock Blast to the back of the head. SK Gaming, without the Ezreal threat to worry about, can just keep on pushing. There's the Monsoon, keeps them alive, but still.
And finally, SK Gaming find that opening. They strike Giants at their Achilles heel. They find PePiiNeRO, delete him, and then it's all that is left for Giants are just still 4 people that are just trying to scale into the game and just don't have too much damage left. Good opening by nRated here, and this is why the Nautilus is so good against poke champions, because wherever they go, the ultimate will always connect. You're running Ignite, just one snare also from the auto attack, then the Riptide. That's a whole lot of base damage. That usually is enough to take these poke champions down to half, and yeah, well, PePiiNeRO started on 40% HP, so he went down quickly. Yeah,
very dangerous, very foolhardy, I'd say, of him sticking around, but they wanted to keep their tower alive at all costs, and they lost more than that at the end of the day. Well, they didn't lose the tower, but definitely a couple members on top of it all. So, right now, Giants have to be a little bit more careful than that if they want to keep playing the defense game. Another minute and 15 before the next dragon becomes available. SK Gaming will surely be having their sights set on that one as we approach the 21.5-minute mark.
Yeah, 6,000 gold, 5,000 gold in the lead for SK Gaming. Chipped away one tower. Let's see how well they can transition this pressure into Baron. Potentially the next dragon, 1 minute away still from that. That will be 3 dragons. More mobility will open up the map for them. Freddy honestly has been impressive. He found his groove again. He was looking for it at the start of the split. Him and Svenskeren were honestly underperforming, in my opinion. Svenskeren showed up. He controlled this early game so beautifully, and Freddy has been a rock. He's been the constant force that SK need. Then just theorize everything else about, you know, find out what works in the bot lane, find out what works in the mid lane, but you can always rely on Freddy.
It's nice to see him come back to form. That's
Steady Freddy, they called him at Worlds.
Nice, it's starting to look like it again. If he can keep this pace up, keep the push, there's really no response from Giants, and he always has one way or two to come into the fights. SK now, knowing they can leave it, they look for Werlyb, not going to find any damage on it, but continuing to force Giants to move around the map wherever they go.
Yeah, they're using their ultimates for wave clear. Both Ezreal and Ryze have to do that. That means they go down even more in those combat stats, so it doesn't help Giants. They're trying to hang on. I feel like SK peeled off for this dragon a little early because it had this massive wave hit in the top lane, and Freddy could have used that pressure to bait somebody top, then SK could have chipped away at the tower, then went for the dragon. But they want that win condition in the 5 dragons a lot quicker than they did yesterday. 3rd dragon goes down at the 22-minute mark, so at 34 minutes, we could have Aspect.
Could indeed. Gonna dive on the tower, the dredge line connected, but it was on the tower itself. Now tanking it is nRated. Here comes the barrel. Fox is the one knocked to the wall, but Frederick goes in a little bit too deep. He's gonna be taken down before the Monsoon can heal him. Fox picks it up, sends a Shock Blast the way of PePiiNeRO. Werlyb can't get involved in the fight. The dredge line narrowly avoided him.
They still have Stand United, and if you allow Jayce to get close enough to that tower, he can pop his W and do 3 hits on maximum attack speed. And then that tower falls.
Will go down 4 towers, getting close to 5 as Freddy continues to push unopposed. 8-0, 4 towers to 1, 3 dragons to none. This is as close to a shutout as we've seen so far. Giants were down a lot yesterday, and they did manage to come back, but SK is going to try to make it hard for them. Yeah, 1 tower is all that's separating Giants from being perfect gamed by SK Gaming here so far. Good performance, and the light is dwindling. It's getting darker and darker as every minute passes for Giants. You need a shimmer of hope. Disengage from Frederick, but after disengaging and then engaging yourself, very often is a mistake. GODFRED obviously doesn't have the range to use that Monsoon defensively. nRated spots out Werlyb. He gets a little scared. Just to walk back and just... yeah, no openings for Giants. How did they come back here? I think it's very hard to see. Yesterday it was the Peppy show, where he ended up poking and just annihilating people left, right, and center with that ultimate, but
He needs more time.
Yeah, he's only sitting on this 2 items. Very expensive build path to try and get up to, and SK aren't giving him a chance. We're not even 25 minutes into this one. They control so much of the map. They've had all those dragons. This is one of those things that they almost consider a necessity, and it's worked for them in the past. Just, it's been very tough to secure everything safely. This time they've had no trouble against this very passive Giants who are only trying to buy time.
Muramana finally finished on Adryh. Urgot is a champion that stacks a tier very quickly. One of the quickest tier stackers out there.
Frozen Heart too.
Frozen Heart. So he's itemizing against that double AD that we mentioned in the start of the game. And should Giants have had a decent early game, that could have been instrumental to their victory. However, it may be too little too late. GODFRED, he's trying to peel SK Gaming away from his teammates, but at this point, just one reset, one monsoon is not enough. CandyPanda picks up that 1 HP red buff. Back to the top lane we go. Yeah,
Svenskeren giving the red away to CandyPanda. Tower going down. Adryh now to be targeted. Fate's Call pulls him in. They're going to go all 4 on the Monsoon to knock him back, but Adryh still going a little bit low. GODFRED holding the line. Frederick coming up as well, but it's still a 3v3. Prey Seeker hits GODFRED.
Fate's Call still a little iffy for SK Gaming. I feel every time nRated wants to go in, use his Riptide to slow. While he's holding onto his ulti, CandyPanda pulls him back into his Pokeball again. But it doesn't really matter because Giants are still forced to flash into their base. We're looking at a 25-minute Dragon Engage. Giants know about this though.
They're going to start the teleport in on it. In comes Werlyb. They're going to try to run for this, but it's going very low. The Ren stacks are getting pretty high. You effectively got double smite in this situation. Frederick's going to come in, try to get the steal off, throws the big barrel. He's able to get it! Frederick, once again, we know he's able to do these, but will Giants pay dearly? Werlyb's going down, CandyPanda picks him up, and they're still going with a double kill for the Urgot to turn it around. Still could be dangerous. A triple kill now. Freddy, Svenskeren, they're going low. Could we see SK wiped off the map? We might just. PePiiNeRO picks up a kill.
El Bandido with the plays. Frederick knocks away CandyPanda, so he's out of Ren range. Then he panic Rens as he comes in and he smite steals it, I believe, or gets it with the barrel. Beautiful play by Frederick, and this is exactly what Giants needed. SK Gaming overcommitted. Set up for what seemed to be the easiest Baron of their life with the Ren execute, with the double smite. Holy moly, Adryh came in, and that's what you were talking about just now. You said it. Frozen Heart against double AD. That's what you want, and triple kill for Adryh and PePiiNeRO. Now we got that gold he needs. And Giants may have just found themselves some time.
They may indeed. 3 minutes to be exact. Let's take a look at how that one happened again.
And keep your eyes on what Frederick wants to do here. So he has a lot of tasks. Look at the HP. He wants to knock CandyPanda out. That's CandyPanda out. Will he Ren? I think SK is trying to burn this. Yeah, he Rens, but he panic Rens at 1.2k. At the same time, I believe Frederick smites and he steals that Baron. Fantastic move.
This is why Giants are the wild card team. You cannot count them out in any given situation, and Heavy may not have done as much with that True Shot Barrage, but Adryh certainly was able to do quite a lot.
And Urgot is such a good champ in these lower number skirmishes because his passive is so valuable. Minus 15% damage. Just makes it so that he can 1v1, 2v1, 2v2 so much easier. And the gold lead, that was 8,000 gold earlier. Now it's at 2.8k against a triple scaling composition with Baron buff.
At least 3 still sitting on it right now, so Giants realizing that they now have a very powerful bit of time here. They will start to push out the waves in the mid, in the bottom against CandyPanda and the rest of SK Gaming.
Fool you once, SK, shame on me, but fool you twice, fool you 3 times, fool you 4 times by now and lose the Baron. Shame on you, SK Gaming. Ring that bell. Shame, shame,
they're
shame.
Good. They're good at dragons. Barons are something definitely a work in progress. Giants Gaming, we know that they are capable of making big comebacks. We saw it happen yesterday, that nail-biter of a game against Fnatic.
Look how hard it is for SK to deal with those waves right now. Such an early Baron. Those Baron buff creeps. Even with the Renounce, CandyPanda has issues clearing that wave.
They're still keeping Freddy top here to try and pressure top lane, and Giants have pretty much done the very bold strategy of ignoring him completely. It's cost them 2 towers, but that's it so far.
If you ignore Shen, you want to commit to one side and force him to ulti in and make it predictable and try and annihilate somebody. They don't find the opening. They wanted to stop that dragon, but they lost track of their base right now. Top lane, Freddy. Mid lane, 3 people from SK Gaming here.
Dragon was secured by Giants. They're going to be able to stop Aspect, but they may be in danger of losing this tower. True Shot Barrage comes in, hits Svenskeren in the head, but the tower's already down. Meanwhile, Freddy's up in the top. His minions are evaporating. He's got to come to the nbottom, or rather to the mid. nRated, Fate's Call, back in the Pokeball you go. And they will be getting out of there before any of them faint.
The Giants, sloppy a little bit. They lose their inhibitor tower. This may come to bite them later if they The Baron buff almost worn off, right? Has worn off, actually.
But they did take away a dragon here, which limits SK to taking some more time for the aspect. It's going to be very dangerous for them. Frederick now looking for Freddy, able to stop the Rek'Sai tunnel. He's going to dash over and try to fight with this Svenskeren for the blue buff. Throws out the big barrel. Nice flash to get away from it. GODFRED intercepts the shock blast. They do get the blue taken away. Now it is Giants' turn to keep invading the jungle.
Now mid lane is exposed, and traditionally in these situations you want to have a soul push bot and rotate towards that lane, but because Giants have been so far behind, that bottom lane tower is still alive, ever so slightly. 80 HP, I believe, on that bottom tower, so Giants could go pick that up for an extra nice around 1,000 gold. Could close that gap, because they're still 3.7k behind. But the poke is not doing much. SK is playing another double threat composition, and Fox yesterday didn't have enough damage. And right now, he's not far enough ahead to really hurt these Giants members. Only single instance of poke. We've seen teams thrive with double poke plus additional damage in the top lane. SK Gaming is going tank top lane, one poke. It's gonna be hard to make that work. And then a short range AD carry. However,
they are making moves though. They force Giants to back away from their own jungle. They're gonna get this inhibitor. The question is, can they get out safely? Preyseeker, Svenskeren in the tunnel. Can he get away? The rest of the team on the retreat, but Werlyb coming around for the flank. Freddy cuts him off at the pass, but nRated might be the sacrifice here. He's going to immediately flash away. Face call pulls him back in yet again. SK are pulling some guerrilla warfare here. Hit and run, hit and run. Giants trying for the re-offensive. That is the Runeglaive Ezreal we've been waiting to see. SK are battered and bruised. They have to massively get out, but nRated is caught right between the team and taken down.
That ulti right there was the mark of old traditional AP Ezreal, but now with the Runeglaive, his Q will also do similar things. SK Gaming take a nice inhibitor, honestly, a big mistake by Giants, but they're looking to equal that out.
Might be able to do it. Teleport on Freddy. This is going to be at best a 4v5. In comes Svenskeren. He's knocked away, taking a whole lot of damage. The rest of the team are trying to save the day, but PePiiNeRO is going to be able to shut him down. Freddy going low. Adryh as well. Werlyb. Everyone is blinking. True shot barrage barely takes down Freddy and Fox. Oh, so close for PePiiNeRO.
If only he had one or two more scaling AP runes in that setup.
He shouldn't have sold his Doran's ring.
That's it. One ring to rule them all. Could have been a double kill for him. Sadly, it wasn't. But PePiiNeRO, I had no idea that he could come back to this state. I thought he was out of the game completely. Giants were shut down. This was a cakewalk. They were one tower separated from the perfect game by SK Gaming, and then suddenly some Baron magic got sprinkled on his game, and suddenly we're even again. I don't mind. As a spectator point of view, it is very entertaining.
Absolutely. That gold lead we were talking about, it's been chopped down to 2,000. SK Gaming have looked a little bit lost since pretty much ever since that Baron moment. However, they have been able to grab some objectives in the middle. They did get an inhibitor. They did force Giants to run around, so they have some pressure. Problem is, Giants are starting to have some serious damage output.
Yeah, but they were not working around the pressure that Freddy provided for them early, I feel. They prioritized Dragons a tad too much, and now their damage dealers are having issues. As I said earlier, that Urgot can shut down the damage from one of these players. Obviously, he can get in the middle with the Frozen Heart against double AD. Let's not forget that both Jayce and Kalista are 100% almost AD-based champions, and Freddy, okay, Vorpal Blades are magic, I believe, but that's about it. They'll need a lot of Vorpal Blades to get through Frederick right here.
Well, if I know anything about Vorpal Blades, they usually are epic rare loot. Let's see what happens here. Svenskeren comes in. He might be in some trouble, though, as the rest of the team melts there. Melting so fast. Knocked by the Monsoon, but Freddy's in the back looking for PePiiNeRO. Will he be able to find him? No. Peppy gets away as Adryh takes the kill. Face call, though, nRated into the rest of the team. Fox picks up GODFRED. Frederick, Werlyb going low, but it's Sven and Freddy that are going down. The double kill for Werlyb, and CandyPanda's all by himself, and he's locked down and taken out. An ace for Giants Gaming.
But just keep your eyes on PePiiNeRO. When the fight seems one for SK Gaming, one proc, one ulti or Q from PePiiNeRO, and then the Ludens just bouncing everywhere on those bunched up SK members is enough to win that fight, and Adryh still full HP. And Giants, a lot easier Baron right now. They're winning this game right now.
Talk about a cakewalk. This time it is in Giants' favor. They've got themselves a gold lead for the first time this game. 33.5 on the clock.
Cake was a lie.
For SK at least.
For SK.
Now, question then becomes, where do they decide to push? Do they force down the middle? Do they try to 1-3-1 with this? Urgot picks up the Thorn Mail. They will definitely have a lot to say about that double AD from SK Gaming.
SK Gaming will have issues with their wave clear. So let's watch that again, that fight. Giants pretty close together. Look at it. First off, PePiiNeRO dashes in aggressively. That is risky. That's the one way to lose a fight, but then Svenskeren melts. He goes down. Watch the Ren that's going to come out from CandyPanda right now. This sets up SK for the feeling that they can win this fight. You know, 4-man knockup, Riptide, snares. But keep your eyes on Pepi in the right side of your screen. One Q here, bam. Jayce drops, somebody else drops. Ludens hits on CandyPanda, and then Werlyb's still alive. Adryh is untouched. That's enough to turn the tide. SK cannot commit to chasing. Chasing into poke is asking for trouble. Make it double.
Absolutely. SK Gaming feels like the timer is ticking down for them right now. If they can secure a dragon, that'd be great, but just barely do it. They might pay for this one, though. Adryh and Frederick are actually knocked up, and Adryh, isolated, does get shut down by Freddy. Gave up on him too quickly. PePiiNeRO might have picked up Fox, but CandyPanda gets another. The true shot only clips Freddy. 2 for 1 and a dragon. Not too bad of a trade for SK.
Yeah, Fox secured that Drake somehow. And then Giants split up, and they want to fight SK when they're grouped. They want to make it so that PePiiNeRO can repetitively land these spells, get those Ludens box, splashing in AoE, have Ryze perma-snare people too, but Frederick and Adryh, the tanks that want to distract some of the members, found themselves at the sides, and their CC is useless because they lack the damage to take SK Gaming down.
It's been a mountain of gold this game, but
sacrificed himself, but he has his flash still up, so he's good.
True. Svenskeren a little deep. He's been deep in the enemy jungle a lot of this game, but now it's really becoming an issue for him. Take a look at
the gold.
The way the gold has gone this game. It was all till about 26, 27 minutes, and then the Baron happened.
That's one Baron,
and the Baron Nation attacked.
Then the Baron Nation attacked. Honestly, SK shot themselves in the foot with that Baron. Overreached. Panic Ren by CandyPanda. And a fantastic smite, I believe, by Frederick. He did it again. This is the second time I feel this split where he secures a victory, or a potential victory, at least for Giants, with a good Baron steal. Last split he did it too against Elements.
Freddy, he's knocked up. He's in the Rune Prison once, but twice. Tower finally will be taken down. Nice little gold in the pocket of Giants. In comes the true shot barrage. Hits nRated, hits Freddy, hits Candy. Softening them all up. Line them up and try to take them down. Tower being tanked now by Frederick as the rest of the team looking to muscle their way through.
Yeah, now Frederick, he can itemize full armor as well because, as I said before, or as we said before, SK Gaming are full AD focused, and this makes it so easy for them to siege on towers. Because if you have 2 or 3 tanky members that can actually tank these towers for a while, it just makes it so much easier to close out the game. Frederick's sitting on a lot of armor. I'm just gonna check how much right now. And he has near 200, he's sitting on 180. And Adryh, the AD carry himself, sitting on 300 armor. He just built himself a Thorn Mail.
Yeah, combined with that Frozen Heart, he's gonna be might bit hard to take down. Going all in on the defensive stats, and why not when you're against that double AD composition? SK, we go back to that draft. I mean, this is something that's very easy for them to itemize against. They did that smarter when they were able to last out the early game aggression.
Yeah, this is something actually Adryh did yesterday as well, I believe, where he went to Maw of Malmortius for apparently no reason. This time I can somewhat understand that getting the defensive build, especially since you're itemizing so efficiently. But yesterday, Giants, they ran out of damage. Eventually, PePiiNeRO filled out his item slots. He's working on number 6 right now for what seems to be a Zhonya's Hourglass. So eventually, if SK can hang out, then we're hitting the ultra late game where obviously Jayce still has item slots left to fill.
There's a big difference, though, in the caliber of teams, too. I mean, Giants were playing against Fnatic, who are the masters of playing ahead and behind. SK Gaming have definitely had a little bit more rough edges to them this split. See what they're about to do here as they put a couple wards in the jungle. Got to be careful. Coin is popped. In comes Frederick, or rather, just like, oh! Goodbye, Jayce. Or excuse me, goodbye, Werlyb. I completely juked myself on that one. nRated is going to get popped by Pepi, however, so it is a bit of a revenge.
Good pickoffs by SK Gaming and slot play from Giants. They let Werlyb get caught out, and I believe it was nRated that picked him off first. Svenskeren gets poked, but
still gets poked. Still gets poked. Avoids the tornado.
Although I feel like PePiiNeRO has hit his biggest spike already. Somewhat earlier in the game, he was doing a lot more damage on those single instances of poke, and SK is slowly building up some MR. Trying to get that magic resistance. Talon goes in from Freddy.
Finds Frederick. PePiiNeRO still seeing the Qs flying. They can't quite take down the tower here, though. It's the poke versus poke. Rek'Sai coming around the side looking for the side engage. Home guards are on. Your shot barrage. He's not going to hit it. Sharknado as he gets popped up. Has to move his way back. Rend Not nearly enough. CandyPanda Freddy can't fight this one out. Svenskeren might be caught, and he is going to get chunked down, but not quite taken down. The barrel is gonna go down on Fox. The rest of SK scattering away. Goodbye, Fox, this time for real. PePiiNeRO picks him up.
And we still see no Aegis of the Legion for SK Gaming here when they're playing against this Ryze and the poke on PePiiNeRO. I would call that a mistake. I don't think you need Locket. I don't think you need Face of the Mountain, but indeed you need that Locket of the Iron Solari to prevent that poke, stay alive somehow. Such a valuable item against this Luden's Ezreal.
May not live to regret the decision. Inhibitors down in the middle. Giants are sticking around, but so far it's only Fox that they're waiting on death timer-wise. Giants look to push down on the bottom side, but there's still an inhibitor tower here. Instead, they turn their sights towards the Nexus turrets. Can they really try to end this one? This seems a little too bold, even for Giants Gaming, and they do back away.
SK looking for Giants, like they're looking for the proper itemization. Looks like it's taking them Aegis to get.
All right. About 45 seconds till this next dragon comes up. If SK do manage to secure it, if they do have a small time window, they can go and grab it. That would be Aspect. However, 15 seconds on the Baron. Giants could attempt to maybe trade this, but they have to deal with this top lane. There's a
I feel like
wave.
Giants should have not been knocking on those Nexus turrets when both objectives are so close to coming up. You said it, Baron is about to go live. 20 seconds for the Dragon. Giants could have backed out, got full HP, set up vision, poked. And now SK starting another Baron, and they're not going to make the same mistake twice.
I don't think so. There's no teleport on the Ryze either. That Baron's going down way too quickly. This time secured for SK Gaming, so they buy themselves a little bit of time. If they can now make a mad dash over to the Dragon and meet Giants, head them off the pass.
Lack of foresight on SK Gaming's side, on a Giant side, honestly, giving that free Baron for SK Gaming, uncontested. And this sets them in prime position to fight for that 5th Dragon.
Now in Gale, doesn't matter too much as SK were able to dodge away from it. Scuttle Crab being fought over, but it goes to Giants Gaming. Shock Blast flying. Werlyb takes some of that damage. Giants are going to try to muscle their way into this Drake. It's proc. Adryh's on it. Frederick trying to zone around the side.
SK Gaming is forcing Giants to start this because Freddy is pushing. And they still have a steal potential here.
And they take it down. It's going to go over to the Gragas, so no, they won't secure it nonetheless. The fight is already on. The Shen is already in, and Frederick still taking the front of it. Freddy actually has to back out. That's not good when your tank goes down, but Giants members are starting to melt. GODFRED not quite down yet. Fox will take down Werlyb. However, PePiiNeRO is going to manage to pick up nRated as well. And now Adryh takes down Freddy. It's gone all back and forth. CandyPanda solo, but Fox manages to secure himself a triple kill.
And Freddy keeping himself in the game. Fox gets engaged on.
Oh, Fox. He might pay dearly for his triple. Shut down by Adryh. All said and done. It's a 3-for-4 to Giants Gaming. CandyPanda, if he can stay alive and powered recall. No, he's interrupted. Frederick takes him down. That's the ace. Minions on the bot.
Did he cancel his recall? It almost seemed like CandyPanda canceled his own recall right there. And I feel he would have landed in the base.
See Gambit watching this game from the backstage now. It looks like it might be all over if Svenskeren manages to come up. He's the only one that close to it, but they're doing some serious work on the tower. Super minions in tow. Frederick and PePiiNeRO desperately trying to chip away. Svenskeren only a few seconds up, but the Nexus is already bare here.
Sven's alive. And Rated's up.
See if he can save the day. Immediately turns his sights on the PePiiNeRO.
He's out of mana.
In comes nRated. Tower going low. They're going straight for the Nexus. Peppy, he goes golden. Frederick trying to buy some time. Peppy, he's going down, but the Gragas is on it. Can he finish it up? Frederick with the taunt. Frederick just hit it.
He got it.
Got it. 43 minutes in. Giants Gaming are victorious.
Frederick MVP.
He steals Barons, he steals Nexus.
He stole SK Gaming's hope. At the end there, just Zonia's Hourglass from PePiiNeRO. That we didn't see that all too well because he used his ultimate right as Peppy was coming out of that Hourglass to knock 2 people away. There's about 1 more auto attack from PePiiNeRO and the Nexus, and that was just enough because he was barely alive in the end here. Frederick, he stole the Baron. He secured that crucial fight around 5th Dragon because SK Gaming was pushing in the mid lane. They had Shen knocking on the inhibitor. They told Giants, you're going to start this Dragon right now because you have to. Frederick, he won the smite off 2 against 1. He stole that one Baron. Fantastic play. I call him a bandit, El Bandido in Spanish. For the right reasons. Fantastic performance.
All around the board, though, it looked a little bit shaky for Giants at the start, but they managed to pick it back up. SK had such a dominant early game. They were looking back to form, but everything changed at that Baron.
Honestly, the first time it happens, you say, okay, maybe, bad luck. The second time you go like, okay, SK Gaming, come on, guys. This is the third time where SK robs themselves of 3 victories. All they have right now is 3 victories on the board. They could have been 6 wins right now. They could have been in prime position for playoffs.
Yeah, Giants are definitely making a statement for themselves. Last split, they said, all we want to do is stay in the LCS. This split, they said, we want to make the playoffs. They're on the track to do it.
Yep.
And a big win for them over SK.
Yeah, and Fishy always likes talking about how PePiiNeRO, when he's in his form, he will carry Giants, but when he's not, Giants don't know what to do. And honestly, it seemed like this game he wasn't in his element, but yeah, he got the help from Frederick.
Yeah, I mean, the rest of the team did fairly solid all around too.
And take a look at the picks right here, and honestly, Giants Gaming should never get to a mid to late game with these.